I'm joined now via Skype by two-time Olympian, six-time Olympic medalist, and basically my neighbor and someone I've known for well over a decade, Rebecca Soni. Hi, Reb.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you. So far away, but
I know, it's been so long. We had coffee last week, so too long. Now, you have the beachy waves going on this morning. What were you doing?
oh yeah, well, obviously I just rolled out of the ocean earlier this morning.
Yeah.
Had to get my little morning swim on for sure.
Have you been watching the Rio Olympics?
Yeah, definitely. You can't help but be inspired by what you're watching. I definitely was out there this morning fighting the waves, being like, Katie Ledecky, all right, here we go.
Yeah, did you feel like the high elbows? Were you totally channeling it?
Totally, yeah.
I bet you were.
She was sending all her vibes to me.
I love it. Well, take us through London. And this time you don't have the luxury of being a rookie and, not as much pressure on you. You had a lot of pressure on you to defend this. And not only kind of the external, but internally you had that too. So we've talked a lot about, prelims, semifinals, and finals. And you like semifinals. Why?
Yes, I do. I love semis. It's a trial run, really, and it's a finals. So you're swimming at night. You've got all that energy that's going on around the pool deck, and at the same time, you have another shot tomorrow. Yeah. So it kind of felt like free reign for me to really express my race in the fullest and not hold back, not get too nervous, and kind of find that sweet spot. So my whole strategy in London, the plan of attack was, I really want to break this 220 thing, and I've been, setting that as my goal and focusing on it. So I'm just going to go for it in semis, and finals will take care of itself. The excitement, let that happen. The time doesn't matter. And so, coming into semis that night, I definitely felt like I was in great position. I felt amazing. I felt everything was coming together, and my stroke felt great. Everything was ready to go. I was in that less pressure situation of semis. It was like, all right, let's do this. And so I got up to the blocks, and I felt an amazing race. Everything came together. Everything felt like it was exactly as I trained. And for the past however many years, I kept telling myself, break 220, break 220, break 220. And now the final chance to do that was the next night, the ultimate race when everything came together and everything felt perfect in that semis, and I touched the wall with a 220.00. So interestingly enough, it was not exactly what I wanted, but it was a world record. And now knowing a little bit more about how our mind works and goals and the mental aspects of sport, I realized that for years I'd been telling myself 220, 220, 220, not 219. Hello. And maybe I should have, or I got exactly what I asked for. I put together a perfect race in semis, and I got 220.00. Yeah. I thought that was pretty cool. It kind of gives me chills to think about it.
And I remember seeing you laugh after, because there was nothing else you could do. You just had to laugh at just the irony of this situation. You wanted to be the first one to break 220, and then you go a 220.00. Yeah. So then you have 24 more hours until the medal race. And what happened in that time?
The crazy thing is you would imagine that this Olympic athlete just finished the semis, breaks a world record, would come back and the next night be totally motivated and ready to do it again. But in reality, I got out of that warm down pool that night, and I started to freak out. Yeah. I started to freak out because I gave it all my best shot. I gave it everything I had that semis. And granted, I knew that I could win. I knew that I could race, and I know deep down that, especially in the 200 breaststroke, I can run down anybody and get to my hands to the wall first. But when it came to my longtime dream of breaking 220, all of a sudden I felt like I can't do it. Mm-hmm. I know that I have, from the past, I've swam faster in semifinals a lot of times, and I felt like I gave it my best shot. And you know what? I'm 4 years older than I was 4 years ago, and all these kind of doubts started to creep in. And a lot of times also I know that when semifinals feels good, finals is not good. It's going to be hard. It's going to hurt a lot. And so I got really nervous. I definitely did. And it all the way up until that moment standing behind the blocks ready to race the finals, I was nervous. I was, spiraling in kind of a wrong direction mentally, and finally standing up behind that blocks, time for finals, and I realized, I'm telling myself, I don't think I can do this, right? In my head, I hear a voice saying, I don't think you can do this. And I heard it, and I was like, no way am I going to stand here behind the blocks, my last race, and the biggest stage, everything I've trained for, and tell myself I can't do this. Even if I don't think I can, I'm going to tell myself I can. Right? It's time to like fool myself a little bit. So it all ended up coming together. That race did hurt like crazy, but it really was like the ultimate ribbon on top. Everything ended out working out really well, and somehow dropped another, almost half a second, which was just amazing. I don't even know how.
219.5.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's so cool to see that. And I just think it's such a cool lesson, because even somebody who has accomplished as much as you have can still get nervous behind the blocks, and you still have to have that moment. The thing, I've heard you tell that story so many times, but in that moment you're like, I don't care, I'm doing it anyway. And just having that conviction and being able to put together the race that you want, I think was so powerful. But I know you've learned so much about the mental game now, and so many things that you wish that you had known before. What kind of work, I know you're doing so much with young athletes, but can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So I put together this online mentoring, mental training program called Rise. The website, if you don't mind.
Yes, please.
RiseEliteAthletes.com. So check us out there.
Thank you for coming on, and good to catch up and hear more of your story. Every time I hear your stories, it just brings me back, and I love it. But we're going to keep following up with what you're going to do, and then we're going to follow the Trina breaststroke final tomorrow. Can't wait.
I can't wait either.
Good to see you, Reb.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Do you want to get involved in the funnest sport? Now it's easier than ever to find a team near you. All you have to do is go to swimtoday.org, type in your zip code, and all of the local clubs will pop up. So pick one, go hop in the pool, tweet at us using #SwimUnited. Tell us what strokes you're learning, how the underwater kicking is going, and what you're up to. We'll be sure to follow along, and we'll see you in the pool.